I'm Jo Clark, and thanks so much for joining me today. This is the Redefining Midlife podcast, a podcast designed for the 40-plus woman who is determined to challenge society's myths and beliefs around midlife. It's for the woman who is inspired and ready to define midlife her way. Join me each week as I chat to health and wellness experts for up-to-date information on how to live well as some special conversations with incredible everyday women redefining what midlife can look like. Here's to making our next half of life even better than the first. I'd love to welcome you to the very first episode of Redefining Midlife. Oh my God, this is both an exciting and a daunting moment for me because having a podcast is something I've wanted to do for a couple of years, and now it's a reality. My podcast is going to have episodes where you'll hear the stories and the voices of other everyday midlife women who are redefining midlife their way, as well as episodes from health and wellness experts who will help advise us on how to live our best life now and into the future. And I'm also going to have the odd solo episode just like this one. Now, one of my favorite sayings is, you're never too old and it's never too late. The last couple of years of my life have really highlighted this, and I've been living and breathing change. And midlife is just that, as I'm sure you've found. It's a time of change. It's a middle of life, and for me, at 54, I've got as many years as an adult ahead of me as I have adult years behind me. And I'm going to make damn sure that I'm not going to die living with regret and wondering what my life could have been like. I'll tell you more about these things that have happened over the last couple of years in future episodes. But right now, I want to tell you the top 10 lessons I've learned since I've made my big life decisions, because maybe one or two of these lessons may help you. Lesson number 1, I've learned that taking steps into the complete unknown is bloody terrifying, and it requires you to be brave. But you know what? It does get a little bit easier each time you take that step. In lesson number 2, I've learned that things don't need to be perfect. They just need to get started. And for a chronic overthinker and perfectionist like myself, this can be something that I really do battle with at times. But once again, it's getting easier. Lesson number 3, I've learned to listen to what my body, my mind, and my spirit is telling me. Because take it from me, living in a state of burnout and stress is not worth it. Because of that, I've had to make some really big, uncomfortable decisions sometimes. But it's also important to remind myself that if I don't do anything at all, that's still a decision. Lesson number 4. I've learned that self-care isn't selfish. As women, we've put the needs of family, of friends, of work, even our own damn pets above our own needs. But it comes at a cost, and it's our cost. It's actually our responsibility to put ourselves first. So I've learned that we need to love and to care for our own body because it's the only one we've got. And it's not up to anybody else but ourselves to eat well, to move often, to prioritize our sleep, and to reduce our stress. And each single one of us makes that decision. I've had to learn that. I've also learned in lesson number 5 that I can do hard things like getting my head around technology, because I don't know about you, but technology and I aren't always good friends. And starting my own online business has meant getting well out of my comfort zone. But in the process of this, I've gained so many new skills and I've met so many fabulous people that I wouldn't have met if I didn't take those big leaps of faith. In lesson number 6, this is a big one. I've learned that it's important to live in the present moment, yet to dream big for the future that you want to have. That my thoughts really, truly create my world. And as Eleanor Roosevelt so beautifully said, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. In lesson number 7, I've learned that the skills and the knowledge that I had in my past career as a teacher can be used in many different ways in my new career. That those skills aren't lost or wasted, they're just used differently. Lesson number 8. Oh, this is another one that's taken a long time to learn. I had to learn that slowing down is so important. It's not about making the busiest story possible. It really is about making the best story possible. Busy is definitely overrated, and it makes for many great excuses, and it often means you miss out on so many things. Lesson number 9. I've learned that the hardships I've had in my life have taught me so many valuable lessons. And even though at the time they don't always make sense or they don't always seem fair, without them, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. So I've had to learn to be grateful for those harder lessons. The final one, number 10, I've learned that my mother, the grandmothers, and the women before me have helped me to be where I am today. I've got the confidence to use my voice, and I've got the freedoms that they never had. So I'm determined to use my voice through this podcast and through my work to help other women redefine their midlife and beyond. This season of life that we're in is all about drawing on the experiences we've had so far, deciding what we want to do next and where we want to put our energies. And it's so important you surround yourself with people that you want to be like and who are doing what you are wanting to do and have the attitudes that you want to have, because it's their positive energy that rubs off and helps you to be brave and to take those steps into the unknown. Now, I've created this podcast to help support and to show women that midlife can look, feel, and be different for every single one of us. There is no one way or one right way that we can do midlife. The world and our society gives us so many stereotypes of midlife, but we can't and we shouldn't let the world define how this age should look and be for us. We are the ones who define how it should be and how it should be for us. I want the stories of everyday midlife women to be heard and to be celebrated so that we can hear and see firsthand how different and how unique this time can look for every single one of us. And I can't wait for you to meet these amazing women and to hear these incredible experts that I have for this podcast. I want to thank you so much for listening to this very, very first episode, and I look forward for you to hear more of what's to come. Bye for now, and I'll catch you in episode 2. Thanks so much for listening and sharing your time with me today. I'd love you to hit subscribe on Apple Podcast or your favourite podcast app and leave a 5-star rating and review. To keep spreading these empowering messages, please share this podcast with other incredible midlife women in your world. Join me again next week for another Redefining Midlife conversation. Thanks again for tuning in.